What is up, guys? Dashing here for episode 667 of Community Universe Mode and edition number 22 of Supremacy. The fallout, of course, from what was an incredible event in Dallas, Texas, Point Break. But man, oh man, do we have a show in store for you here tonight, as things are going to get underway with a no disqualification match between the right hand of the right hand, Bram Miller, and Andrew Briggs. As you can see, already going for a pin, trying to finish this one early, is Bram Miller. But this match coming our way after Andrew Briggs, of course, was screwed out of the International Championship at Point Break. If you missed it, he was challenging Shay Hoxton, of course, the current champion still, for the title. About 2 minutes into the match, Shay Hoxton would throw Andrew Briggs into Tailcoat Val, who was at ringside, and, well, referee Murphy, who has had a career here at CMV, shrouded in controversy, especially when it comes to Shay Hoxton, called for the bell, disqualifying Andrew Briggs because he apparently made contact with Tailcoat Val, even though it was Hoxton who threw Briggs into Val. And so Hoxton was able to retain his championship. Briggs not happy about it. He actually went on Twitter and demanded a match with referee Murphy. But Mr. Slate, the general manager of Supremacy, instead giving Andrew Briggs this no-holds-barred match against Bram Miller. Andrew Briggs saying, well, good enough. At least I can beat somebody up who's a part of that screw job. With what happened at the top of the show, it's becoming more obvious that it was no mistake. We'll get into that a little bit later on. Huge things happening here in CMV, but what a main event we have in store, as Subject Zero will be going one-on-one with the CMV Undisputed World Heavyweight Champion still, Chris Proudfoot, and a whole lot more in between, as Briggs is able to slap away the hand and a kick to the back. Now into the pin he goes. Anything goes here between these two. Pinfall or submission must happen in the ring, though. That's really the only rules. We get a swinging knee. Doesn't even take down Bram Miller, who fires back, just whipping Briggs around the ring as Briggs is caught in that front headlock, sort of like a guillotine. Briggs rolling out of the ring to catch his breath. There are no countouts. Quickly back into the ring he comes. Bram Miller catches him out of the pendulum into a power slam. Usually you go down with your opponent for a power slam, but I guess Bram Miller couldn't be bothered, just dropping Briggs unceremoniously off his shoulders. And is Briggs regretting making this challenge? I can see where Briggs is coming from. You had corrupt referee Murphy. You're facing someone like Shay Hoxton, Tailcoat Val's at ringside. It was a recipe for disaster. There was no way Briggs was walking out of Point Break with the International Championship. Thrown into the corner. Bram Miller going to turn Andrew Briggs around and get a good look at him. Can the former Undisputed World Heavyweight Champion fight back? Miller putting him up on top. Not a place he wants to be. Taking him down for a single knee backbreaker. That was an interesting setup. 1, 2 in the middle of the ring. Only gets a 2 count. Andrew Briggs quick to shoot to his feet. Elbow to the side of the head. Gets a knee to the gut as a receipt. Briggs throws out a crossbody, but Bram Miller sidesteps it. Stomping on Briggs while he's down, and look at this strength by the right hand of the right hand. Incredible power manhandling Andrew Briggs. Bram Miller perhaps has had enough. Oh, drilling Andrew Briggs neck first down into the canvas. 1, only a 1 count. I don't know how the hell Andrew Briggs was able to survive that. The resiliency, though, of Andrew Briggs, well documented in his CMV career. Andrew Briggs laying in with those knees to the face. Not going to let anyone stand in his way. Wants that international championship. And if Mr. Slate and his goons want to play hardball, then Andrew Briggs is here for it. He'll play. Into the corner, Andrew Briggs slowly approaching Shining Wizard. The Sharks bring a neat bow on top. 1, 2. But Bram Miller eating it and pushing through. Got that jaw of steel, I guess. Responding by throwing Andrew Briggs overhead as if with ease. 1, 2. Andrew Briggs isn't the biggest man in the world, but I mean still, you got to be quite powerful to just throw someone overhead like that. Looks like another helicopter while in this guillotine. In a circle around the ring, Andrew Briggs dazed and confused, but still able to fight. Watch out, referee. Oh! Johnson almost got in between these two. Andrew Briggs, German suplex. Continuing to work on the head of Bram Miller. Sliding dropkick, Andrew Briggs. Forearm smash at close range. Bram Miller forced into the corner. Nowhere for him to go. And now I guess it's Andrew's turn. Once he got cooking up top. Clothesline from Bram Miller, making sure it does not to the side of the head. Gets out an elbow in time. Does Andrew Briggs to stop that from happening. And now we get a swinging neck breaker. Bram Miller wise enough to know where he is. But remember, it's no holds barred. There are no countouts. There are no disqualifications. Bram Miller can run, but he cannot hide. Andrew Briggs is furious. He wanted Murphy here tonight. But Mr. Slate wasn't about to let that happen. Oh, into the steel steps, gut first. And there is quite a difference between referee Murphy and Bram Miller. Belly to belly. Briggs catching the back of his head off that bottom step too. And the steps continuously used as a weapon here. Completely legal. There's no stopping this. Briggs has to fight out. The only one who can help him is himself here tonight. With Bob Luger on the shelf, recuperating from his numerous injuries that were only made worse. Hang on a minute. I think Bram Miller just put on a pair of brass knucks. He did, but again, it's no holds barred. Even though the referee saw that, he can't do a damn thing about it. Bram Miller back into the ring. There's no count out though, and it's not false count anyway. He's got to get Briggs back into the ring to defeat him. I think he just realized that. Double axe handle, Briggs trying to shake off that shot with the brass knuckles. Bram Miller came prepared. Oh, God, I think he's been tasked with permanently eliminating Andrew Briggs. Just like Bob Luger was at Point Break, and just like Quantum maybe later on tonight when he's got to go one-on-one with Bloody Justice. Again, the military press. Anyone who opposes Mr. Slate and the army he's building gonna be subject to this type of treatment. Face first off the announce table, almost knocking over my Mountain Dew. Andrew Briggs, though, maybe out of instinct, throwing Bram into the ring, catching his breath. Right into a pop-up sit-out powerbomb. 1, 2, 3, Bram Miller. Just dissecting Andrew Briggs live here on Supremacy. That was a beatdown, ladies and gentlemen. The last couple of minutes just saw Bram Miller destroy Andrew Briggs at ringside. A shot with the brass knucks, a Uranagi into the barricade, and then finally that pop-up sit-out powerbomb And Andrew Briggs is a fighter. He wanted this match, but Mr. Slate changing it, giving him Bram Miller instead. And even still, Andrew Briggs put up a fight, as he always does, but in the end, the right hand of the right hand gonna stand tall, and dominantly so. A good way to start the night if you're Mr. Slate. We'll see how the rest of the show goes. Let's just hope that Andrew Briggs can get some help in the back, and hopefully he won't be joining Bob Luger on the shelf anytime soon. But after that, I don't know. And coming up next, we've got ourselves some tag team action, guys, as Oasis, Kaplan Armstrong, and Aaron Cade are going to take on the Carters, Deck and Brooke Carter Jr. Last time we saw these two teams was a few weeks ago, part of a fatal four-way tag team match, introducing us to some of the new teams here on Supremacy. That match was actually won by Oasis. So let's see if they can continue to build up some momentum, or if the Carters will stop them before they really even get going. Later on tonight, we're also going to see the Arsenal of Tailcoat Val, those masked figures, take on the former Undisputed World Tag Team Champions Braxton Sutter and Joey Diaz of God's Chosen. And I think that match was specifically set up so that there won't be any help for Chris Proudfoot in the main event when he takes on, of course, Subject Zero. And with what happened at the top of the show, guys, if you missed it, make sure you go to our website, communityuniverse.4motion.com, to see what went down. A tale of three champions, as Chris Proudfoot came out here celebrating his championship win at Point Break over Bob Luger, saying he is truly the undisputed World Heavyweight Champion, but none other than the International Champion Shay Hoxton would emerge from the back and brought with him a surprise for Chris Proudfoot, saying, "You've got that undisputed title, a title that I want, but I have something, Proudfoot, that you want," unveiling the NGCW Championship, guys. And Shay Hoxton, once upon a time, was the last ever NGCW Champion. Proudfoot was the number one contender, but NGCW closed down before Proudfoot ever got his championship match. And, well, Shay Hoxton said he wants the undisputed title. He knows Proudfoot wants the NGCW Championship. So why don't we go ahead and make this thing happen? Proudfoot accepted. You can tell even after all these years, Proudfoot still wanted to become the NGCW Champion, something he could never do. Shay Hoxton says, "You may have God's Chosen, but I've got some allies of my own," and revealing that what happened at Point Break with Andrew Briggs was no mere coincidence. As Mr. Slate would come out onto the stage, he and Shay Hoxton shaking hands. Hoxton said he made a deal with the devil, and boy did he. Hoxton now in bed with our general manager and the gang of goons he's rounding up. So Hoxton not on his own. But what a match, guys. I don't know if you can truly grasp how monumental this is. Hoxton and Proudfoot for the NGCW Championship, for the Undisputed World Heavyweight Championship. 5 years in the making. Hoxton is dropping a bomb on us all, including Proudfoot tonight. We'll see if Proudfoot even survives the night, though, when he takes on Subject Zero later on. And this tag team match getting underway. Aaron Cade legal for Oasis. And that is Brooke Carter Jr., who shows off a little bit after hitting that Samoan drop. It was pretty impressive, not going to lie. Aaron Cade tossing him back into the ring, though. And hot on his tail. Trying to stop him from getting up. Gets an elbow to the side of the head for his efforts. And a go-home driver. Asking for that tag. Kaplan Armstrong wants it. And from what I saw of Kaplan Armstrong during that Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match a few weeks ago, this guy is impressive. Don't let his size fool you, because he is also lightning quick. As well as just terrifyingly strong. Tag to Deck Carter now. German suplex. No, let go, and a Pele kick from Aaron Cage, showing off his athleticism. Early on in this one, went for a head kick. Deck ducks it, and a belly-to-belly suplex has Cade down. You can see Kaplan there in the far corner reaching on his hand for the tag, but that is a long, long way to go for Aaron Cade, and he's a bit preoccupied right now as Declan is staying on top of him like a monkey on a cupcake, not letting him get anywhere. Kicks, to the back of the leg. That stomp may do it. One. No, only one kick. A matchup still to come here tonight, guys. I'm very much looking forward to two new champions. Gonna go at it. The brand new CMV Anarchy champion, Brian Jacobson, gonna take on the new CMV European champion, Killian Red, who's gonna kick off their reign with a dub that has the potential to blow the roof off this joint. Tag to Kaplan Armstrong, and here comes this menacing man. Declan sees him coming. Kick to the gut. This is the double axe handle, though. Irish whip on the rebound. Just all of his weight right into the face and chest of Declan. Oh, quick tag. Back in comes Aaron Cade. Did Deck get the tag before Aaron Cade stops him? Nope. Just before, cut off, belly-to-belly suplex. Those tag team titles here on Supremacy finding a new home at Point Break. Bloody Justice and Jared Leon, the new champions. And every team on Supremacy taking notice, including these two. Hook to the jaw. Aaron Cade with what looks like a torture rack turned into, a double knee backstabber. Not something you see too often. One. But the English-born Aaron Cade not going to be able to put this one away so quickly. I think that woke Brooke Carter Jr. up. Going to go back to sleep. Gut-wrench powerbomb. One. Deck makes the save before Kaplan can stop him. Not going to stop Cap, though. Clobbering him with that blow to the upper back. And in the confusion, Brooke Carter Jr. getting himself free from that head scissor. Snapmare into a reverse chinlock. An amateur background for the Carter family. If this match stays on the canvas, it ain't going to go well for Oasis. They've got to stand up. Cannot out-wrestle Brooke Carter Jr. Kaplan Armstrong there for Aaron Cade, who doesn't seem to be able to respond, though. Couple of punches. Irish whip. Counters the Irish whip, though, does Cade. We get a knee to the face. Deck is still out at ringside, but Brooke Carter Jr. ain't slowing down. Handling this one on his own. Pump handle slam. Will that be enough? One, two. It may have been, but we won't know. Kaplan Armstrong breaking the pin keeps this one going for Oasis. Counters the Irish whip. Hanging on for dear life. Kaplan continuing to ask for the tag. Aaron Cade preoccupied. Looks like Brooks going to try to make that tag, and he does. Here comes Deck Carter. Running over Cade with a shoulder block, threatens a punch, goes for a clothesline, ducks, double axe handle, could have knocked the tooth loose. And Deck Carter's going to make sure of it with some punches off the full mount, stomp to the gut just for good measure on the way out. Kick to the shoulder. Things are going well for the Carter family right now. Will they stay that way? Swinging neck breaker. Remember, Brooke Carter Jr. incapacitated at ringside right now. Deck's got to be careful. Trying for a tag to Kaplan. Deck doing a very wise thing, getting out of that corner. Tries to double axe handle again, gets a hip toss. Irish whip. Another tag attempt thwarted. Irish whip over to the corner of the Carter family. Brooke just now getting back up out of the apron. This could be good news, or it could be bad news. midsection. Aaron Cade holding his knee to the throat of Deck there in the corner. Very confident is Aaron Cade as he mocks these fans and now scouting Deck, who's attempting to crawl to the corner at the mercy of Cade. Belly-to-belly suplex. Britt Carter Jr. desperately holding out his hand. Can his brother make the tag? No, he can. Aaron Cade lets it happen. I guess he wants a piece of the junior. Might have been a mistake. Maybe getting a bit overconfident. Uh-oh. Things don't look good for Britt Carter Jr. here, folks. Arm drag. Brooke. Another pump handle. Could be in the works. Yes. Directly into the pin. 1, 2. Oh, but a stomp by Kaplan. That was pretty cheeky. Gotta get Aaron Cade out of that corner. Catches the kick. Elbow to the knee. Michinoku driver. Not enough for Aaron Cade, though. Coming up from behind, looking for maybe another torture rack double D backstabber. Yes, indeed. And with Deck out there on the apron, not looking too hot. 1, 2, 3. Oasis gonna grab the win, remain unbeaten, and take another step in the right direction here on Supremacy. Closely contested tag team matchup that was. Both teams bringing their all, but Oasis, in the end, bringing home the bacon. Numerous times in this match, I thought Britt Carter Jr. had it won after those pump handle slams. Here's the one from only a few minutes ago. If not for Kaplan Armstrong, I believe this would have won the match. And here's where things went downhill. Countering that kick right into another torture rack double knee backstabber. And good night, sweet prince. Oasis victorious. Aaron Cade elated with the outcome. And up next, guys, we've got a debut on our hands as Bryce Adams arrives here on Supremacy. Going to be taking on Harry Wallace one-on-one. Still to come, guys, more tag team action. We'll see the Arsenal of Tailcoat Val, those masked figures, taking on the former undisputed World Tag Team Champions, God's Chosen, Braxton Sutter and Joey Diaz, not to mention our main event, Subject Zero, one-on-one with the CMV Undisputed Champion, Chris Proudfoot. Proudfoot's finding himself with a lot of new enemies here tonight on this edition of Supremacy. And let's not forget that champion versus champion bout between Brian Jacobson and Killian Red. I am super looking forward to, but right now, let's find out what Bryce Adams has to offer here on the Supremacy brand. Taking on Harry Wallace, as I said before, who we haven't seen since last month when he fell out of the European Championship Tournament first round. Harry Wallace actually said recently that loss really affected him, and he spent these last few weeks training to get back into the ring. And, well, let's see if he can battle back a young gun like Bryce Adams. There is a severe age gap between these two. Bryce Adams, I believe, in his early 20s. Meanwhile, Harry Wallace in his late 40s. One of the oldest active members on the CMV roster. But don't let that fool you. As you can see here before your very eyes, doesn't let age stop him from getting things done in that squared circle. And Adams is finding it hard to keep up with the old-timer. I think this may be what Harry Wallace has been missing as of late. Ever since he went out on his own last season, the Wrecking Crew disbanding with the departure of Michael Payne, Wallace has kind of been floating around trying to find his way here in CMV as a singles competitor. No luck as of yet, but maybe that'll change here tonight at the expense of Bryce Adams, who tries to pick himself up, man. Can't really get going. Harry Wallace with a Canadian backbreaker, bending the spine of Bryce Adams over the shoulder. Able to get out of it, but maybe just prolonging the inevitable. Harry Wallace with no signs of stopping. Bryce Adams taking him down hard with that brainbuster. And now down onto the knee. Adams showing off his admittedly pretty great physique. He just hit his first couple of moves and he's already bragging, but look at that. Now that is brag-worthy. A plancha down onto Harry Wallace at ringside. That's what I like to see from these newcomers. They got to figure out a way to stand out amongst all these new faces and step up to those legends in the locker room. Harry Wallace just caught a Hurricane Rana, taking Bryce Adams down hard with a sit-out powerbomb. That may be one of the coolest reversals I've seen, at least in a while. And oh, the gut of the announce table. That sharp edge right into Wallace's stomach. Count of 7. Both men back into the ring. Bryce Adams to his feet, misses that punch as Harry Wallace makes up for it with a Uranagi. And another one. Worked so well the first time, why not? Goes for the pin. 2 for the price of 1. Speaking of 1, though, that's all Harry Wallace gets with the pin attempt. Bryce Adams trying to catch Harry Wallace from behind. Elbow to the jaw. Rocking Wallace just for a second, but that's long enough for Bryce Adams to take control. Knife edge chop deflected. Takes him by the fro. Adams walked all the way across the ring, but just as they're reaching the corner, 3 elbows is what it takes. Adams setting himself free and a reverse STO. Maybe time to GTS for Harry Wallace. Small punch to the face at close range. Disrespect by Bryce Adams. Not having any sort of respect for the years of experience Harry Wallace has in that wrestling ring. But wait a minute. The old man with a slingshot bomb out of the corner. 1, 2, 3. Harry Wallace picking up his first win in a long time, and that had to feel so good for the veteran of the squared circle, taking it to the young and cocky Bryce Adams, who falls short in his debut. But I'll say this much at least. From what we did see, I look forward to what Bryce Adams has to offer in the future. If he can get out of his own head, that is. Gotta feel good for Harry Wallace, though. Bryce Adams not looking happy that he lost to someone like Wallace, though. And here we go, my fine feathered friends. It's the match that I've been looking forward to all night long. Champion versus champion. These two men at Point Break won their respective matches to become new title holders here on Supremacy. Brian Jacobson surviving the Hardcore Battle Royal to be crowned the new Anarchy champion, while Killian Red and Chris Sullivan tore the house down. In the end, the Louisiana will crown the new European champion, and both these men will be a part of the announced 7th annual King of the Ring tournament. That'll take place in its entirety in 4 weeks at Cause and Effect, the next brand-exclusive pay-per-view event for the superstars of Supremacy. These two and 6 others going to compete for the right to be crowned King of the Ring. But for now, only one of them can get their reign off on the right foot. Who will it be? The POV of CMV, Brian Jacobson, or the Louisianimal, the man who bleeds red, white, and blue, Killian Red? Let's find out. Brian Jacobson, I said it before these last couple weeks, and I'll say it again, man. Ever since he returned, he has looked phenomenal. I think the best he's ever looked in his time here in CMV. And Killian Red wasting no time hitting his first of what I'm going to assume will be many power bombs in this match. But Brian Jacobson using the powers of teleportation to knock Killian Red out of the ring. And hardly a minute in this match, we're already brawling on the outside. Brian Jacobson says he'll be crowned the Hardcore King at Cause and Effect. Might look at Brian Jacobson and not really think he's hardcore, but just look at what he got done at Point Break. And you'll change your mind real quick. The Anarchy champion trying to get things started here against Killian Red, but the big man keeps overpowering him. Jacobson is crafty, though. Maybe one of the craftiest superstars on Supremacy today. Oh, okay. That was weird. Picked him up into the fireman's carry, then dropped him down, only to throw him right into the steel steps. A count of 11. This is a standard singles match, so at 20, this will be thrown out by count out. Killian Red doesn't seem all that worried, beating his chest like the silverback gorilla he is. 14, Jacobson says, I don't think so, trying to get back into the ring, but Killian Red stops him face first off the steel post. Killian Red trying to exit the ring, continue the fight, but referee Johnson stopping him from doing so, and that effectively halted the count, allowing Jacobson to get back into the ring. Killian Red has no idea, and the Anarchy champion attacking from behind. Not the first time Jacobson has done something like that, and surely far from the last time. Single knee backbreaker into a Russian leg sweep. Flawless execution of that combo. That loss to Pierre Thompson in Ascendant 7 really took a toll on Brian Jacobson. For a couple of months he kind of disappeared, but re-emerged with a freshly shaven head, chiseled abs, and a new work ethic. And he's been unbeaten this season so far. I don't know if that's going to last. Powerbomb after powerbomb after powerbomb by Killian Red. The European champion hooks the leg, only a 1 count. Killian Red, who his first night here in CMV, set the record for longest time spent in a Royal Rumble match 3 years ago, and then disappeared for 2 years before popping back up and putting the world on notice with his epic clash against Bloody Justice at Shake Up. And even though he lost there, he was able to push forward, winning the European Championship tournament, culminating in the destruction of Chris Sullivan at Point Break. Hurled out of the corner. Jacobson flying through the air. Oh man, here we go. Killian Red, powerbomb. And again. Once more. Hooks the leg. 1, 2. But Jacobson getting that shoulder up off the canvas with a very little time to spare. And now trying to outmaneuver Killian Red. The Louisiana will come with the spine buster. The best spine buster in wrestling today. 1, 2. Not even a 2 count. I got a bit overzealous. And Jacobson, jaw dropped, can't believe it. Trying to shake off those cobwebs. Hang on a minute, Killian Red, sunset flip powerbomb from the inside of the ring to the outside. Again, beating his chest. Had to flex on him. But Jacobson, no rest for the wicked. Hit that bulldog, and again to the backbreaker Russian leg sweep combination. Looks like he's trying to wear down the back of Killian Red, stop him from hitting all those power bombs. How many has he hit in this match already? I don't even know. I haven't been keeping count. I've kind of just realized at this point that Killian Red is going to hit a minimum of 10 power bombs each match that he's in. Seems to be 95% of his arsenal. And why not? I mean, it's worked for him so far, obviously. He's the European champion. Oh, here we go again. Jacobson not able to stop the power bombs. 3 more. That's got to be it. 1, 2. Jacobson. An impressive kick out, to say the least. The Anarchy champion telling Killian Red, come on, you big dumb animal. And that was a mistake, throwing it from inside of the ring to the outside. Do you know how strong you have to be? Grabbed him by the beard and threw him out of the freaking ring. What is wrong with Brian Jacobson? No! Oh! Killian Red saying, you want to get hardcore? I got something for you. Back suplex on the barricade, but a power bomb as Jacobson attempted to get off a kick. I guess this match is a good trial for Brian Jacobson as Anarchy champion. Gonna have to be willing to come out here and throw down like this every single week. Wait, he's not gonna, tell me he's not gonna do what I think he's gonna do. He's tried everything. Jacobson won't stay down, but a power bomb from the top rope. Wow, 1, 2. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Very rarely do I see a look of shock on the face of Killian Red. Very rarely do I see any other emotion than pure anger on the face of Killian Red. But his eyes were just wide as wide can be. Brian Jacobson kicking out of a top rope power bomb. Come on, something's got to give. Another trio. Non-stop. Look at the back of Brian Jacobson, beat red. 1, 2, 3. Finally, it's enough. Killian Red keeping the Anarchy champion down. But it took everything to do so. I knew that match was going to be a show stealer, and it more than delivered. Mamma mia. These two came out here tonight to prove who the better champion was. And neither man leaving without some some wounds to tell the tale. But after, I don't know, maybe a 30th power bomb, including one from the top rope, the Louisianimal secures the bag. Are we looking at King Killian after a performance like that, man? Hard to argue otherwise. And coming up next, more tag team action. Before we get set to see on our main event, Subject Zero, one-on-one with undisputed World Heavyweight Champion Chris Proudfoot. I'm guessing to ensure that Proudfoot has no backup in that match, God's Chosen Braxton Sutter and Joey Diaz forced into action against the arsenal of Tailcoat Val, these mysterious masked figures we've seen over the last few weeks doing the bidding of Tailcoat Val and Mr. Slate to an extent as well. And Sutter and Diaz still recuperating from the loss of their tag team titles at Point Break to Bloody Justice and Jared Leon. Gonna have to refocus against these creatures. How else can you really describe them? They're not even human. At least they don't seem human. They definitely don't act human. Mindless beasts for Tailcoat Val to do with what she will. And here it is going to be the animals known as Reeve and Scourge taking on the former tag team champions. This is Reeve starting things off. That power on the apron would be Scourge. Braxton Sutter, no sort of good mood, trying to bend Reeve in half with this torture rack, but a few punches to the back of the head. Gonna force Sutter to release the hold. Kick to the midsection, gets caught, and that gets turned into a choke slam. Kev got some serious height on that one. Also still to come, guys, Bloody Justice will be in action against Quantum after Quantum was able to defeat Subject Zero in the last man standing match at Point Break. Mr. Slate tasking Bloody Justice with finishing him off here tonight. Kitchen sink by Reeve. Going over to make a tag to Scourge. Look at the height of this guy. Man, oh man. How do you get that tall? I want to know where Tailcoat Val finds these lost souls. I mean, one of the tallest men I have ever seen enter a CMV ring, but not able to do him any good against those wicked fast strikes of Joey Diaz, the hot commodity. Hucked into the ropes, now on the apron. Diaz doing what he does best, baby. DDT head first down onto the apron. Takes aim and pulls the trigger and pointing up to the sky because he knows that God is watching over him. Unlike at Point Break, it would seem. But of course, Chris Proudfoot did leave still the CMV undisputed World Heavyweight Champion. Scourge saying, see ya! Hit it out of the park. Both men entering the ring in different directions. Taking his time, Scourge over the top rope. Diaz able to catch him, but hits that knife edge chop. Oh, and a double open palm chop. Down onto the bare chest of Joey Diaz. Knife edge chop again. Diaz says enough is enough. Let's see how you like it. That step up knee strike hot tag to Reeve. Joey Diaz ready and willing. Taking that clothesline to its fullest extent and out of the military press. Just dropped like a sack of stone back down to the mat. Face and chest first. Catchphrase by Joey Diaz, though, rolls through, drop kick to the side of the head. Reeve to his feet in the blink of an eye. Snapmare has him down again. Elbow to the top of the head. That'll ring the bell. Reeve. Belly to belly suplex. See how he just friggin' hoofed him down onto the canvas? Another clothesline. Braxton Sutter reaching out to his brother. But Diaz is a long way from home. Will God's light protect him here tonight? Counters the Irish whip. Not a place Diaz wants to be. Punch to the jaw. Kick to the gut. Down in the corner. Trying to hang onto the ropes, but that alley-oop bomb connecting 100%. Knee right up under the chest. Stomps to the pec. Reeve drops down into the pin. 1, 2. Diaz shooting up. He knows he's got to turn this one around, and sooner rather than later. A tag to Braxton Sutter would probably be the best idea, but again, the Arsenal Telco Val doing a very good job thus far of isolating Joey Diaz. Tag to Scourge. And what are these two going to do? Hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. Scourge, who's already 7 feet tall, got to be 10 feet in the air. My God! All of that weight down across the ribs of Diaz. And Scourge is loving it. Turning his back on Diaz, able to make a hot tag to Braxton Sutter. And here we have the tale of two towers. This is like a Godzilla movie. Two monsters colliding. Military press into a power slam. What is Scourge doing here? Joey Diaz is still incapacitated at ringside. A spider walk by Scourge. How eerie is that? That long, lanky body contorting. Sutter completely unaware of what's coming his way. A kiss goodnight, busting him open. Hooks the leg. 1. Only a 1 count? Sutter sitting up like, oh, you done fucked up now. Knife edge chop up against the ropes. Thrown. With no care for Sutter's well-being, that's for sure. Double tag, in comes Reeve, in comes Joey Diaz. Jawbreaker does not keep Reeve down for long. He just immediately got back up like, what? Suplex toss. Diaz is on his own here. Caught between a rock and a hard place. Break in the eye. With the boot, Reeve didn't see that elbow coming though. Diaz closes the distance. There's another catchphrase and a drop kick. Diaz, with a little bit of help from God, maybe, trying to overcome the Arsenal. Jumping cutter. Diaz throws him back. Not before getting a kick to the gut, though. Looks like a hammerlock turned into another combo by Joey Diaz. That blinking and missing offense of the former World Tag Team Champion. Targeting the lower back. There we go, a Russian leg sweep. Not very often we see Diaz hitting anything other than knees and kicks. Going old school there for a moment. Braxton Sutter tagging himself in. I think that's what Reeve wanted. Counters the Irish whip though. Braxton Sutter checking on his friend before knocking Reeve down to the outside with a big old punch to the jaw. Now a single knee backbreaker. At ringside, Braxton Sutter, referee already in count of 3. Looking to deal major damage. And after what a match has been so far, not even over yet, I'd say it's pretty safe to assume Mr. Slayton Tail Colt Val's plan is coming into effect. There's no way God's Chosen are going to be able to come back out here later on and support Chris Proudfoot during the main event, even if they win. Not going to do so without having a chunk taken out of him. Scourge has Sutter down on one knee. Double axe handle, Irish whip though, and a cross body. I mean, very, very, very rarely, if ever, is Braxton Sutter made to look like the smaller man in a match. But that's what we're seeing right here. Trying to run and Scourge, just getting manhandled. I can't believe I'm actually saying that. Braxton Sutter, the one on the receiving end of a vicious attack. And it's like he's got no response for it. Scourge taking some time to think about his next move, but in that time, Braxton Sutter trying to get back to a vertical base. Now a spine buster off the military press. Changing it up just a bit. Which way did he go? Which way did he go? Trying to make these guys think. Hang on. Marching Braxton Sutter around the ring. We get a running Samoan drop. Joey Diaz exhausted, unable to get into the ring. But luckily Braxton Sutter able to survive on his own, but for how much longer? A game plan is what God's Chosen needs here. Joey Diaz tagging himself in. He sees that his brother doesn't have a whole lot left to give, if anything. The result of this match may rest on his shoulders. Headbutt from Scourge. Joey Diaz too fast. Runs himself over the ropes. And back down to the ringside area. Joey Diaz is set while Scourge does some sort of war dance. Coming to collect Diaz. Drop kicks into the apron. The lower back of Scourge. And Diaz is looking to God. Looking for help from his Lord above. Trying to find some answers. What does he got to do in this match? No. Hang on. Hang on a minute. Wait! Oh my God! Joey Diaz drilled through the big guys. The barricade just shattered into pieces. Jesus Christ! Such force behind that spine buster, the barricade giving way, and Diaz just crashing through it. Pardon my French, but holy shit! Diaz doing his best to try and fight back, but he can't have much left after that. I'm shocked that Diaz is still standing. Only down for a minute and a half, if that. His back has got to be on fire right now. Count of 10 by referee Johnson, and just look at the destruction over there in that corner. We're lucky no fans got caught in the middle of that. It'd be a lawsuit on our hands. I don't think Scourge gives a damn. Diaz flipping up onto his feet as if he didn't just get slammed through a barricade. Tag to Braxton Sutter though. Oh, a high knee! And Diaz thrown like a battering ram. Sutter. Oh! Hanging him up on the middle rope. What a combination that was. Diaz earning a rest on the apron. Oh, the spike! Thumb to the throat of Scourge. Now sternum first into the apron. You can see how exhausted God's chosen are. Again, I just have to exclaim, Joey Diaz, the fact that he's even still standing on his own 2 feet right now and not being hauled off on a stretcher is incredible. Perhaps he really does have God in his corner. Count of 10, Sutter's just throwing Scourge all around the ringside area, trying to get some payback for his brother. Look at the leftovers, man. Pieces of barricade all over the place. 14 count by referee Johnson, but Scourge, I think, has no intentions of getting back into the ring. Another running Samoan drop after the march. Sutter, though, jawbreaker, has Scourge teetering. DDT may have cracked his skull, and Sutter, 19. Can he get back into the ring in time? Yes, he can. 20. God's chosen winning this match. Maybe the only way they could have by count out, and I don't blame them. The Arsenal Tailcoat Val, I don't think they came out here to have a match, guys. I think they came out here to eliminate God's chosen, and they may have gotten that job done. When it comes to Joey Diaz, he's still standing, but there's got to be some sort of injury to his back after being slammed through the barricade. Look at that crack down Braxton Sutter's skull. There you see right there the replay of Scourge destroying the barricade with Joey Diaz's body. And look at that cut on the top of Sutter's head, guys. Neither one of these two men are in good shape. That's going to need stitches. And speaking of getting back up again, Quantum at Point Break able to overcome Subject Zero in the last man standing match, much to the chagrin of Mr. Slate and Tailcoat Val. But Mr. Slate is intent on Quantum being taken out of the equation now that Bob Luger has been shelved after all of his injuries caught up to him, failing to capture the Undisputed World Heavyweight Championship against Chris Proudfoot in the main event of Point Break. So Quantum's not getting a chance to sit back and, kick his feet up after a hard-fought win. Bloody Justice, one half of the brand new Undisputed World Tag Team Champions coming his way here tonight. Stoda Kung going to see Brett Curtis in action as he goes one-on-one with Ashley Amell, preparing for the King of the Ring tournament at Cause and Effect in our main event. Not going to want to miss it. Subject Zero versus Chris Proudfoot. Proudfoot going to be in unusual territory. He's not going to have anybody backing him up. God's chosen both taken to the doctor here in the arena, but they may have to be I don't know if we have the proper equipment to help them out. They may have to take a trip to the local hospital. But this match gets underway now. Bloody Justice throwing Quantum out onto the apron. And wasting no time. Are you kidding me? Pile driver off the apron. Is there something in the air tonight? Has someone poisoned the water? What is going on? It looks like the barricade's been rebuilt. Put that back together. Only Quantum can take a pile driver off the apron down onto the outside of the ring and get back up. Bloody Justice. You know, I noted this a couple of times these last few weeks. It's just gotten more and more vicious with every passing week. And I think that has something to do with his association with Tailco Val. Justice was already a deranged individual before Val came along. But now this unholy alliance rules supremacy with Mr. Slate at the forefront. Justice has become a whole new type of monster, leading him to his third tag team championship reign. He and Jared Leon, his brother-in-law, dethroning God's Chosen at Point Break. And classic Bloody Justice tombstone pile driver. Following it up with a pinpoint knee drop. Justice, what did he just do? What did he just do? I think he just put something on his glove, and now he's trying to shove his hand down Quantum's throat, but the Future Man desperately fights him off and succeeds. Quick to blast back with a package pile driver. Hang on a minute. Wait, that's Jared Leon's music. That's the other half of the World Tag Team Champions, but where is he? Jared Leon's music going off, but he's nowhere to be found. Quantum getting pranked there. And the time wasted Bloody Justice back to his feet. And the mind games, the numbers game, catching up to Quantum. Oh, Sisters Joy, 1, 2. Quantum somehow kicking out, but then again, this is the man that survived the last man standing match opposite Subject Zero at Point Break. Of course, that was no easy task. Quantum tying up Bloody Justice in a knot again. A second package pile driver. Stiff kick to the lower back. Now a pin. 1. I was wondering why Jared Leon wasn't out here at ringside for Bloody Justice. Now I think I understand. He's in the production truck. Making Quantum think twice. You know, with Bob Luger on the shelf, with Andrew Briggs being taken out of the top of the show, Quantum truly has nobody to back him up. Oh, wait a minute! 360 tombstone pile driver. That one had a bit of oof behind it. A little bit of razzle dazzle. Grabbing Quantum by the ears as he lifts him up and slams him back down. These forearm smashes, one after the other, back to back, off the ropes. Clothesline to take Quantum off his feet. It seems like this episode of Supremacy is being used like a cleansing. Every enemy of Mr. Slate being systematically taken out. Will Quantum be the next Hadouken to the heart of Bloody Justice? 1, 2. He's already tried to fight off the numbers game. But Bloody Justice, oh man! Even he can't survive a 24th punch. 1, 2, or maybe he can. How many men can say they survived a 24th punch by Quantum? Catches the kick, swinging Quantum around and dropping him right down out of the knee for that gut buster. There's the sickle. Shoots the half. Hastily into the pin. Bloody Justice making sure to hook the leg. 1, 2. Doesn't want to give Mr. Slate or Tailcoat Val the satisfaction, but man, look at how quickly Bloody Justice sucking Quantum in. And furious now is one half of the World Tag Team Champions after hitting a second Sister's Joy. Quantum starting to get up. Bloody Justice saying, here, let me help you. Not out of the kindness of his heart, though. Forearm smash, and again, Quantum hoping for refuge in the corner. He's not going to get it, though. Running bulldog to the middle of the ring. Full mount. Justice is losing it. Clean elbows getting through to the forehead of Quantum. Hammering at the shoulder, scratching and clawing any exposed bit. Fair game, another sickle. Oh! Well, at least Quantum won't have to be going to the chiropractor anytime soon. Bloody Justice making sure of that. Straight punch to the throat, grabs the hair. Justice really is like a rabid animal when you have him backed into a corner. When he becomes desperate, he'll do anything and everything to get himself out of that corner. Luthes press, Quantum, they can say the same thing about him. He's a fighter until the very end. Another 24th punch. Bloody Justice running right into it. Quantum using his momentum against him. 1, 2, 3, and Quantum survives. Yet another obstacle thrown at him by Mr. Slate. The Future Man racking him up and knocking him down. But with each and every single match, you can tell that a chunk of him is taken out. Subject Zero battered him at Point Break. Bloody Justice and Jared Leon making sure to take another piece with them here tonight. But Quantum is still standing. How much longer will we be able to say that, though? Against the odds, Quantum overcomes. Well, that's more than we can say for anyone else who's gotten on the bad side of Mr. Slate and Tailcoat Val. And I can almost feel the anger from Mr. Slate in his office out here in the arena. If I were Quantum, I'd be very, very careful. Digging himself a bigger grave as the weeks go on. And before we get to our main event, guys, here on Supremacy episode 22, where, of course, Subject Zero will take on the undisputed World Heavyweight Champion Chris Proudfoot. Brett Curtis prepares for the King of the Ring tournament in 4 weeks at Cause and Effect as he takes on Ashley Amell. Brett Curtis, got to give credit where it's due. Surprised he's even here, only 1 week removed from Point Break, of course, where he was a part of that hardcore battle royal and took a sledgehammer shot to the chest. It came down to him and Brian Jacobson, and that's what the POV of CMV had to do in order to keep Bret Curtis down to become the new Anarchy champion. But Curtis, as we've seen throughout his years here in CMV, down on NGW last season, is not a man to stay down. He'll take a loss, he'll lick his wounds, he'll pick himself up, dust himself off, and he'll come back better for it. He adapts, and that's what I love about Bret Curtis, and that's why I think one day, maybe not here tonight or maybe not next week, but maybe in 4 weeks at Cause and Effect for the 7th annual King of the Ring tournament, Bret Curtis will finally break that glass ceiling. Will finally win the big one. The former NGW Tag Team Champion has no quitting him. And even though you might not like his attitude, I certainly don't. He's not exactly a fun guy to be around. Half the time he's talking about himself. The other half of the time he's talking about how bad everybody else is around him. But he also has somewhat of a reason to be so confident. He's one of the best in that ring. I do firmly believe that. Here on Supremacy, maybe in all of CMV. And he wants to prove that. He wants his chance to prove that to the world. And that chance will be presented to him more so than ever before at Cause and Effect. Right now, though, Ashley Amell not looking to be some sort of stepping stone. The Aussie caught in this knee bar, and ever since his tag team partner, the other half of Thunder from Down Under, was put on the shelf with a pretty nasty injury at the end of last season, Amell has tried his hardest to adapt to life as a singles competitor. And even though he's had a few moments to shine here and there, more often than not, things have not gone his way, and that was evident at Point Break when he lost to the debuting Masawa Kage in pretty embarrassing fashion. But Ashley Amell, much like Bret Curtis, didn't let that loss keep him down. Here he is tonight, a week later, trying to push forward. Pele kick to the back of the head by Amell. Rushing right into the pin, hoping he maybe knocked Bret Curtis's lights out, but wishful thinking. Hip toss by Curtis, cartwheel, and knee to the face. Nothing wrong with showing off necessarily. Every once in a while. Bret Curtis's problem is he likes to show off non-stop, much to the detriment of his success. Had that rolling cutter off the shoulder, just about does it for the infamous Bret Curtis. Back on the attack with a 360 tombstone pile driver. Hooks the leg. 1, 2, 3. Bret Curtis with an impressive showcase of his abilities, defeating Ashley Amell. And heading into the King of the Ring tournament, I honestly think Bret Curtis might be a bit of a dark horse pick. It is a tough tournament to call. Bret Curtis and these 7 other men all vying for the right to be named King of the Ring. Will the moment finally come for Bret Curtis at Cause and Effect? That remains to be seen, but after a showing like that, I think he may have swayed a few people into his corner. A 360 tombstone pile driver. Talk about showing off, but it paid off. Bret Curtis may be our next king of the ring. What a shot. What cinematography. Whoever's got the control in the production truck trying to flex on us a bit. They got that artistic Flair, it would seem. But now here we go, main event time on Supremacy episode 22. And this night has been, well, quite a, what's the word I'm looking for? Almost like a hunting ground for Mr. Slate and Tailcoat Val. First it was Andrew Briggs taken out by Bram Miller. Then God's Chosen absolutely destroyed despite winning the match. Both of them taken out of the arena to a local medical facility. Bram Miller had a huge cut down the center of his head. He was bleeding all over the place. Joey Diaz got speared through the freaking barricade. Quantum was able to survive, but just barely against the Undisputed World Tag Team Champions. And now Chris Proudfoot stands alone against Subject Zero. And who else to be ringside than Shay Hoxton, the man who dropped a bomb on us all at the top of tonight's show when he brought out the NGCW Championship and challenged Chris Proudfoot to a unification match. Shay Hoxton wants the CMV Undisputed World Heavyweight Championship. He knows that Chris Proudfoot, more than anything, even 5 years later, wants the NGCW Championship. And so the match seems to be on, but Hoxton had one more card up his sleeve, and that was his partnership with Mr. Slate. Getting in bed with the devil, as he said himself, to make sure he's got some backup against Proudfoot and God's Chosen. And, well, that backup paid off tonight because here's Chris Proudfoot. No Braxton Sutter, no Joey Diaz in his corner, as would usually be the case. Completely isolated and alone. Shay Hoxton, say what you will about him, he's a smart man, and he knew exactly how to get into the head of Chris Proudfoot. He knew that NGCW Championship means more than anything to Chris Proudfoot. The title he could never win. The title he earned a shot at, but a shot he never got. And all these years later, it's eaten away at Chris Proudfoot. Hoxton has the title, Proudfoot wants it. Proudfoot has the title, Hoxton wants it. So it's going to be winner take all. Oh, super kick by Proudfoot. Now goes for a jumping cut of it. Subject Zero throws out a punch into a front headlock European uppercut. Sends him into the corner. Throwing him down, the world champion with Hoxton and Tailcoat Val getting a front row seat fish drop. Proudfoot, gotta wonder how he's able to focus right now, knowing that NGCW Championship is only a few feet away from him, knowing that his two brothers are currently in the hospital thanks to Tailcoat Val, knowing that Mr. Slate now has it out for him, and that Hoxton's got all the power. Still doesn't have that world championship, though. Chris Proudfoot locked in a bear hug and Subject Zero. You can see all of his muscles clenching up as he attempts to squeeze the very life of Proudfoot right out of him. Kick to the knee. Into the corner again we go. I guess Proudfoot wants Val and Hoxton to get a real good look at what they're getting into. Another fish drop. Proudfoot. Gotta say, the fact that he even actually stepped into the ring here tonight is a bit of a surprise to me. I would have thought he'd hightail it out of here, especially after what happened to Sutter and Diaz, but doesn't want to give Hoxton the satisfaction of knowing he made him retreat. Even if it means he's got to square up to the brick wall. Both men going for kicks, neither connecting. Subject Zero with the bicycle boot there. And into the pin. Will Zero defeat the world champion here tonight? No. Very rare sight to see the deck stacked against Chris Proudfoot. On any given night, it'd be him with the numbers advantage. Look at Zero with a lot to prove after his loss to Quantum at Point Break. Tailcoat Val's #1 puppet needs to prove his worth here tonight. Headbutt gets caught with a jawbreaker. That kick to the chest does nothing. Didn't even phase Subject Zero. As if it tickled. Drops down. Proudfoot goes for a dropkick, but missed by a mile. Looks to make up for it with a jumping cutter, but Subject Zero is quicker. Turning him around in the corner. Not a friendly sight. Knee to the gut. Proudfoot down, and 300 pounds across the sternum, making it hard to breathe. Only a 1 count. I can't believe Proudfoot's not flat like a pancake on the canvas right now, looking like roadkill. Subject Zero wants the high knee, but Proudfoot launches the big man into the corner, and hang on a minute. Stomping a mud hole in Zero, making sure he stays put. Proudfoot only pulls this out when he's desperate, and desperate he is. The Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. Coast to coast. Dragging Zero's massive frame out of the corner. What? A 1 count? Proudfoot's reaction. Exactly how I'm feeling right now. Wait! Went for God's arrow! But Zero spread the legs and stomped right down onto his stomach. You know how fast your reaction time has to be to stop God's arrow just before it hits you. The reflexes, man. Subject Zero is really... Oh, there it is! There it is! The second time connects. 1, 2, 3, and Proudfoot puts down Subject Zero, much to the chagrin of Hoxton and Val at ringside. Even without his soldiers by his side, Chris Proudfoot overcomes the impossible odds placed against him here tonight. There was the first God's arrow that got stopped by Subject Zero. But Proudfoot can hit you with it from anywhere, anytime. The CMV Undisputed World Heavyweight Champion survives the night, but going forward, it's only going to get harder from here. Well, guys, thank you, as always, for tuning in and watching along with me. I hope that you enjoyed the show. As always, if you're interested in joining, ! Discord, ! Twitter. We'll give you links to our social media. If you're watching on YouTube, communityuniverse.4emotion.com is our website. You can head there and find all the details you would need to become a part of CMV. But until next time, I hope you have a fantastic weekend, and I will see you when I see ya. Bye.